Today I'll talk about source qualifier transformation. So source qualifier transformation comes if we import either flat file or CSV source or else database table as source. But keep this fact in always mind that source qualifier can be effectively used only when if source is database table. So let me give you an example. Let's open source qualifier. So this is my data set. EMP source table has 14 rows, as you know. Now my first example will filter out the record set using only source qualifier. We know that filter transformation we use in Informatica to filter out the record set, but here we will learn how to filter out the record set from this in the source qualifier itself if source is database table. So let me design that mapping. So this is the training folder, then source. So I'll go with the EMP source table. m_sq_test. I have created the target table already. I have created the target table, imported the target table definition. So let's go to target folder, employee filter 10. This is the table, target table. It will drag the icons. Yeah, so I'll just simply connect this and this. The EMP source is Oracle source, that's why we can filter out the record set in source qualifier. I just link the related columns. Department name columns comes from department table, as you know. EMP table does not have any department column, there is only department number, so I am not linking this department name column. Now just let's open the transformation, then go to properties. In properties there are few columns. So source filter we'll use. Just right click this one, expand, and the department number is equal to 10. We want to filter out, that is we want to see the department number 10 related record set, or we only push department 10 related record set into the target table. So this is what the source filter do. So we just say apply, okay, and our first mapping is ready on source qualifier. Now let me create the workflow. Workflow is already there. I just want to delete the session and I am to use the existing mapping. So I have to create the session. Here is session m_sq_test. It's being created. It's created. Now I just have to link the start task and session task. Go to task and then link. Now I have to configure the session. My source table connection string I have to relational database connection I have to specify here. So training is my source and target is also training. Okay. Now I have to change the target load type, bulk to normal. I should check out with uncheck this, and then this, the truncate target table options I'm just selecting, because after load we can verify data. If we rerun, then also it will load data freshly. So every run we can see what is the data variation. That's why I am truncating table before I run the mapping. I have connected to the database. Let me truncate the table so that whenever we run, we can see our run related data. Table is truncated. Now I am trying to save. Already session is saved. Now I'll run the workflow. Let me open the workflow monitor. Workflow monitor, it is running. Just let me close left window, and this is running. Just and let's wait for finishing of the run. The run is complete. Now you know 3 record set. Department 10 has 3 record set. Let me show you the department number 10-1. This is second record and this is third record. So all our record flows into the target. Those records belongs to department number 10. Let me first format the SQL plus output. So all department 10 related record came into the target. So this is how we use source qualifier, and we use filter in the source qualifier. So one use. Second use is, now I'll show you. Let me show you my Excel sheet. Now second mapping is I just want to populate department name. In this target, in the current mapping, if you see that we have not linked department name column, it is unlinked column. Now I have to take this department name from department table. So how we can, now employee table has department number and department table has also department number. So we will join in between employee table and department table and take out the department name, D name. So how we do using the source qualifier? Let me show you. I have already imported department table. It's here. So let me import. Let me drag and drop to the workspace. So department table also is associated with a source qualifier. Let me clearly say you. So whenever we drag and drop any source that belongs to either flat file or target or table, the automatically source qualifier gets created. That's the rule of the thumb. And we can make maximum use of the source qualifier if the source is a table. We cannot do all those steps in flat file or CSV file or any file. So to join department and EMP and department table in the source qualifier, we have to follow in certain way. So we have to delete the source qualifier related to department. Now we have to drag and drop this dname column. This dname column needs to be linked to dname of the target. Now let me make it iconic. So we are taking the data from EMP source and department table and feeding into the single source qualifier transformations, so that the single source qualifier transformation can join in between EMP and department. Now how we can join? The department number is the key. So we have to open and go to properties, and then I just remove the filter condition because we don't need filter condition now. So user defined join. So here you can specify the joining column. So EMP source department number, just double click it, is equal to department dipped number. So this is the joining condition we have to specify. Informatica in turns automatically create a where clause or joining clause in the query itself in backend, and then execute that query into the Oracle server or database. So here we have to specify only joining column and how to join. That's it. So earlier how? So let me take you to the output. Department name table was null. There is no column, there is no value for the department name. So now we have joined EMP and department table using source qualifier transformation. It's just I'm refreshing the mapping and then open the session. I just need to check the connection string. This is fine. Training normal, and truncator load. Good. We are good to run this workflow. So let me run this workflow. I have started. Let me check it in workflow monitor. It's running. Run is complete. Now let me check the database record details. Now there are 40 rows came into the table, employee filter 10, and department name along with that department name also comes into the target table. So joining using source qualifier is successful. So that the way we can join the two different tables in source qualifier. I said two different tables, not the two different files or something. Now it's time to begin the query override. Now source filter we know how to use this, joining we know how to use it. Query override. What is a query override? So sometimes it is required that whatever Informatica generates the query, we don't want to use this because it does not serve our purpose, or it may have some performance bottleneck. So we want to create our own query and keep this query inside the source qualifier so that our purpose is solved. Now how to do that? So for this I am taking a scenario like I want to see the employees which has more than average salary of that department number. Of that department, I want to get all the employee which has salary more than the average salary paid to that department. That's my query. So I believe you know the basic Oracle query. So I'll just straight jumps to the this one Oracle query override. Now to do query override, I need to create another new mapping. Just let me create a new mapping. Create m_sq_override. Now I have to drag and drop EMP source table, and along with that target table EMP_TGT table. For this purpose I have created a employee target table and imported inside the Informatica. So I just drag and drop. Let me connect the ports. So in this table, okay, I just need to drag and drop department number also, department table also. Let's keep the example simple. Okay, now I have this. To generate a query or overwrite a query, it's better always follow a simple rule, otherwise you will have in deep trouble. So I just do properties, go to properties and then generate SQL. So it generated the SQL. I'll just copy it into some notepad editor, then paste it and then arrange the query so that it's easy to read. So this is my query. Now I have to add few conditions, like what? I want to get the employees whose salary is more than the average salary paid to that department. So I just put a where clause, where sal greater than, let me make is a OE, outer employee. OE stands for outer employee. I just replace with the OE, because in Oracle if you use alias, then you have to use alias with the table column name, or else you should not use anything. So OE dot sal greater than select avg sal from emp underscore src in our employee table, where ie dot dipped no is equal to oe dot dipped no. This is a correlated query. For every row it will fire and get the average cell and choose the outer record if outer record salary is more than that the average salary of that department. This is the correlated query. So I did not change the column order, I just changed the where clause, because Informatica does not automatically generate this type of query. We have to overwrite the query with our requirement. That's the main purpose of query override. So let's copy this and paste it here. Sometimes what happens, after pasting this you have to validate. So if you need to validate, then go to particular database by the ODBC data source and then connect with, then validate it. I will not show it, it's your home task. So just I place OK and apply. To generate a query in the source qualifier, means basically what we did, we go to properties and then click the right tab, then generate SQL, and generate SQL we copy it here, some notepad, and then format the query and put some where clause. But one condition you have to meet. What is this? Now you have to connect source qualifier port to next transformation, then only source qualifier can generate default query. Otherwise source qualifier cannot generate default query. Means while doing mapping, connect the, if you don't have any other target or some other transformation in your mind, then create a expression transformation and connect the port of source qualifier to expression transformation, and it enables source qualifier to generate the query. Otherwise, if you don't have connectivity, let me show you. I have deleted the connection, so now I just try to generate. Cannot generate query because there is no valid fields projected from the source qualifier. This is what you will get always. So always try to connect the source qualifier port to next transformation or target. If you don't have anything, then create a expression transformation and connect from source qualifier to expression transformation. Now only you can use the generate feature. Otherwise you cannot use the generate feature. We don't need generate feature because our query is already, we have formatted. So I just said okay and save. Then I have to create a new session. Just let me make it reusable so that we can use the previous one later. Just now delete it. If we delete reusable transformation from workflow, then it will be deleted from workspace, but from repository it won't be deleted. So let me create the new session for the mapping we have generated, am_sq override. We have created the session. Now let's make a link in between the task and session. Now let's configure the session. We have to configure source connection string since it's a database table, and you know this is string already have created. Once you have to create the source and target connection string, later you can reuse it wherever you need. Training, okay, then bulk to normal, and here you have to select the truncate target table so that we can verify our current run result set. Just save it. Start workflow from task. Now let me check. It started running. It's successful. Now in the source itself, it fired the query on 14 rows. It gets 5 rows as per its desired condition and loaded with those 5 rows into the target. Let me check the target now. Select start from emp_tgt. So these are the King is president, Ford is analyst, Scott is analyst, and Jones and Blake are both manager. They have their salary is more than the department average salary. This is what we get. To get, so we overwritten the where clause because Informatica does not generate where clause. That's why we had to override the query. Informatica straightforward, simply select and all the column names linked and target source table. It will generate those things in a SQL query. It cannot generate the where clause or joining clause or something like this. Let me tell you some other story. Now here we have learned how to 3 things today we learned. So one is the source filter we have used, user defined join we know how to use it, and SQL query. All 3 things are applicable to only the database table. Now if you write source filter, let's say we write the source filter. Source filter, what is source filter? Department number is equal to 10. We just apply, okay, and then Control S. Now we have to refresh our workflow. Refresh mapping, it's being refreshed. Now I'll check the query override part. Source qualifier query, the whatever query override you do in mapping level, it will be available into the session level. So the source qualifier, source filter we have used, and this is our query. All things we have written in mapping, but it's automatically get reflected in workflow level or session level. Let me save it. Just saving. Let me restart the workflow. I will see what's going. It's running. Let's wait till it finishes. Run is complete now. So let me check the dataset. So it's a fifth row, and department 2030 also came along with the department 10. But here is the trick that we have used a filter condition in the source qualifier transformation. So only means filter condition transformation we have selected for department 10. So we are more concerned about department 10. But thing is that it does not get executed. This condition, only lookup query, override query only gets executed. If we write source qualifier, user defined join and SQL query override, then the highest SQL query override has a highest precedence. So it will only consider SQL query override if it is available. It would ignore all other things like user defined join and source filter. So keep it always in mind. Source qualifier query override is the highest precedent rather than the user defined join and source filter. And if the query is overridden, then filter and user defined join will be ignored. So we have seen the source qualifier query, the where condition, how we can do it. You can do pretty simple joining also with the help of source qualifier query override. Let me give you example. But to do this, I have to make a change in the mapping. Let me show you how to make it. Again, joining means again another source you have to take it. So we have to drag and drop department table. Now I'm going to join two tables using source qualifier query override. I just link department name and department number and department name with this. Oh sorry, I have to delete this source qualifier transformation. I have to only use one source qualifier transformation. So department number and department name I have to link. So I have linked. Now in the source qualifier query, how we should do, let me again generate the query properties, generate SQL. So it has generated the SQL. Let me take it to some notepad editor. Now make the query formatted, otherwise it won't look good. So I'll just make the query OE dot department number is equal to department dot department number. Where just I'll put this query condition. I have overridden the where condition. Where also I have created a join condition in SQL query override, and just I have to do one more thing. As you know, if I use a table alias, then I have to use the table alias itself instead of table name. One more thing I have to do is just I have to create dipt dot dname column. Let me save it. I'm just saving the. I have to link this department name, otherwise query will not generate, right? That is the problem. So generate SQL again. Just let me copy it into the so here I added manually, but if I link, because department name did not came into picture because we did not connect the port in between source qualifier and target. That is the next level transformation to the source qualifier. But here once I linked, it generated the proper query. So I can use this query because now it is linked, link is generated. So better copy this query and paste it here. Now OK, apply. Okay, then let's save it. So we are joining two tables with the help of single source qualifier and using this query override. I'm just refreshing. It's a refresh. Let me look into or check the query override feature. Now in the session, just come down. It's a SQL query. SQL query got the same thing as we did in mapping since we refreshed the session. Okay, Control S. Once session is saved, we will start running the workflow and check the result set. Before running this workflow, now department name was blank, right, in previous run because we did not populate department name column. Now let me run. Start workflow from task. It's running. Let me check the workflow monitor. It's running. It got successfully completed. Now let me check the record set. I'll just press slash. So department name also came. So joining is successful using source qualifier query override feature. Now let me take you the last and final point. So derive a column which is not available at source. So we want to derive a column which is not available source. Our derivation column name is classification, as you know that from the structure itself. Let me check the designer again. So classification. So how is classification defined? Is if employee is president or manager, then the employee is part of the management, or else it's a worker committee. So I have to create a new column to the source qualifier. So how? Now classification is var character 2 related. So I am deriving a column which does not have existence in the source, but still want to make use of source qualifier query override and generate that value. So how we can do it? So it's very simple. This is the var character column. So we have to drag the var character column itself. Now we have to name it as classification. Classification, we just make it as 30. Now always properly follow this step, otherwise you will be in a problem, or your mapping will be invalid, your query will not work or something. Just connect the classification ports, and then what's next? Now next is I just will generate the source qualifier query override, because we have connected the classification port. So let's generate the we have generated the query. Then again I just want an editor to edit that query. Leave it. We don't require this. Just edit it. Let me format the query. Replace all. Okay. Close. So here the last column was department name, but here again EMP source ename column came because we have connected the port of source to source qualifier EMP name, employee name, that's the employee name. So we will override the query like, let me tell you again what we will do. Ename, we write a case statement here. Case when job is equal to president or job is equal to manager, then it's a management, else it's worker. Now it's successful. So I have written this query override. just instead of column name, just I put a end case statement over here. If job is president or job is manager, then management classification is management, otherwise it's a worker classification, and the column name I specified with the as, with the classification, as classification. I specified the column name with the as classification. That's it. Now let me look into data. Now this is okay, it's little chaos. Let me copy this, then only I think we can understand it. So this is the record set: EMP name, job, manager, hire date, salary, and classification. Management are 4 people. The 4 people is president and manager, 3 manager and 1 president. So our classification column is derived. So in this source qualifier example, we have seen how to use filter condition, how to use joining with the help of source qualifier on itself, how to write a query override. In the query override part, we use where conditions. We can use many more things. And deriving a column using query override, which the deriving a column which does not have any existence in source, but still using query override, we can generate it. That's the feature I have shown you. This is the very basic feature, a very important feature if you are working with database source tables. So that's it on the source qualifier transformation. And if you have any query, please don't forget or hesitate to shoot me a mail.